Hey everybody, my name is Snyster, and today I'm going to show you some tips and tricks I've learned that have helped me obtain world record multiple times and become one of the top runners for the category. I will be covering movement, strategies, and useful info to know in this video, and I will leave timestamps for each subject in the description. So without further ado, let's get started. First, we will talk about skateboard movement. When you think about the skateboard, you would assume that you just get on and push like normal. But with the cheap skateboard, which is available at the start of the game, pushing is most of the time slower than just running normally. Which is why in the speedrun, we choose to use this technique of getting on the board and then immediately dismounting to gain speed faster. This technique is mostly for the cheap skateboard that you can buy at the start of the run, but if you decide to buy the golden skateboard later in your run, this technique will not apply to you. Next up is double jumping or triple jumping. Both of these terms are pretty interchangeable, and this technique is a hot topic of discussion in the rules right now, but as of now, the moderators are deciding to allow it, so I'm going to teach you how to do it. The easiest way to perform this trick is to go on a slope, and as you go up the slope, spam your spacebar as fast as you can, and you will go up in the air depending on how fast you spammed your spacebar, so the faster you spam, the higher you go. Another method to do this trick is to take your hand off of your mouse and use that free hand to roll your fingers across your spacebar, and this will allow you to do these jumps on flat ground, which can help you get over certain buildings to save some time, but this is very inconsistent and tricky to learn, and it only ends up saving you a few seconds in the run, so I really wouldn't worry about this too much. Finally, for the movement category, we have bunny hopping, or bee hopping. I'm sure most of you already know what this is, but for the few that don't, bunny hopping is when you are sprinting, and then you jump, and once you land, you jump again immediately after to preserve some of your momentum. This technique is useful for small time saves when you're walking a short distance that the skateboard is really not necessary for, but most of the time the skateboard technique will be faster for longer distances. This could be improved to be better than the skateboard technique if you consume a product that makes you run faster, like an energy drink, or if you mixed a strain with an energy drink. But that isn't really viable in any percent, as you don't unlock the energy drink until after you would have completed the run, but it could be useful for a run like 100%. Backing away from movement, we will now be discussing certain strategies that can be used to save loads of time during your runs. The first strategy we're going to talk about is completing quests early. During a run, you will be minding your business, doing your average run activities like watering your plants and harvesting your product. And then, you'll come across the quest, making the rounds. This is always a frustrating point in the run, because you will oftentimes have to make the long trek across town to the other side of the map to reach the 3 NPCs that you are required to talk to complete this quest. But, you can actually talk to these NPCs right at the beginning of the game, which is extra convenient because the RV that you spawn in is right next to all 3 of these NPCs. So this is a very useful tip, and you can also complete other quests early, but we'll talk more about that in the XP section when it'll become more relevant. The next strategy that every runner has started to use is grabbing the free items in the RV at the beginning of the game. And you may be thinking, the watering can and trimmers? I grab those all the time. And you would be right, because you can grab those, but you can also take the OG, growing in the pots, if you wait for it to grow, which I'll talk more about what you can do while you wait for it to grow in the next tip. And then, once you harvest the OG, you can actually take the grow lights, the hanging fixture that the grow lights are on, and the plastic pots for absolutely free, which is crucial to the run, as it allows you to get 12 product from 1 seed instead of 8, which can be further increased by buying PGR from the hardware store later in the run, which will give you 16 from 1 seed. And as one extra bonus, you can also take the packaging station with the baggies as well. Next, we will talk about what you can do to fill your time while waiting for the OG and the RV to grow. First thing to do, and most important, is grab the fountain and the supermarket dead drops, but do not grab the canal dead drop, as if you grab all 3 dead drops, the RV is going to explode, leaving you with no OG and no free pots. So instead of grabbing the canal dead drop, you're going to go to the hardware store, you're going to purchase 2 grow tents, 4 soil, and 70 baggies. And hopefully you brought your watering can, because what you're going to do is leave all of the stuff you bought, including the watering can, on the pallets outside the store, and then you're going to take 10 baggies with you. Only 10, because there's already 10 at the packaging station in the RV, so you'll have 20, and then you can bag all 20 material you're going to get. And then you're going to head to the basketball court so you can grab the baseball bat, and then you're going to start smashing ATMs and soda machines for extra cash on your way back to the RV. But leave the ATM near the hardware store intact so you can use it later for mixing mania and for buying soil and baggies and other items. Next, we're going to go over some quick things that you can do to get a faster time before we get to the big topic of XP. So, first, after you put the soil in the pot at the motel, immediately go to the payphone and order your dead drop from Albert Hoover. Order 4 seeds to fill the 2 pots and the 2 tents. Next, as a quick and easy tip, just make sure you're always handing out samples to new customers to unlock faster deals and to make money quicker, as the biggest barrier in this run is making the 10k at the end to fulfill the quest and needing the green. Another quick and easy tip, just make sure you list OG Kush right at the start of the game so that you can get those early morning deals from people like Kyle. Alright, now that those quick tips are over with, it's time to move on to the big kahuna, the head honcho, the beefy boy, XP. So, the thing about XP is that there are so many things to know about it, like how much do you get from each mission, how much do you need to unlock Westville, how much do you need to unlock the warehouse, what does each level get you. So, we're going to go through each of these things, starting with how much you get from each mission, and how much you need to finish the run. So, to see how much we get from each mission, we actually have data thanks to Double Moses in the speedrunning Discord server. And we can see that each mission gives about 100 XP later on. The earlier ones give around 25 to 50. So, and to unlock the warehouse and unlock crystal cooking materials, we need to hit the rank of Hoodlum 5, which, thanks again to the help of the Schedule 1 speedrunning Discord server, means that we can access the warehouse once we get 2,600 XP, which can take quite a while, but with more resources we have from the Discord server, we can see that getting wanted levels from the cops gives a good amount of XP, and if you can make it to the Dead or Alive wanted level, we can use that to farm up a load of XP to get to the 2600 faster. Now that we know how much XP we need to beat the game, we now need to figure out how to unlock other things, like Westville to unlock the pseudo dealer, and the amount of XP we need for that is 1,400 because you need to reach the rank of Hoodlum 1, and getting to Hoodlum 1 takes 1,000 XP, and then to level up to Hoodlum 2 is 400. Almost every new level you get will give you something, but here are some notable items and which levels you get them at. Street Rat 3 will get you PGR, which is essential because it'll add 4 more product to each one of the seeds you plant. Street Rat 4 unlocks the Sour Diesel seed, which is good because you can sell that instead of OG for a bit more money. Street Rat 5 gives the electric plant trimmers, which make it much easier and faster to harvest your crops. Hoodlum 1, like we said earlier, gives Westville, but it also gives the mixing station, which you'll need for mixing mania. And the last important item that you unlock will be at Hoodlum 2, and that is the green crack seed, which is what I switched to at the end of my runs, and that is how I got the world record. So I highly recommend growing that once you hit Hoodlum 2. Now that we got some of the heavy XP stuff out of the way, we still have our hands full, because now we have to talk about money and RNG. So the first aspect of money we will talk about is the customer's estimated weekly spending rates and their orders per week, so you can try to build your run around this and get faster times. Thanks again to the speedrunning Discord server, and especially Amy, who was the one that shared this info with me and brought it to the server's attention. We have a list of every customer's buying habits, which I will show on the screen now. So with this list, we can see which customers are the best to sell to in bulk, and who will buy just a little at a time. And I'm not going to read out all of these names, but you can pause the video if you want, and I'm going to leave the link to the post where we found all of this info in the description. A couple of other useful things to know is how addiction works and all of the recipes you can make, so we have a couple lists for that too, like the Guide to Addiction by Gucci Sweater High Roller on the Schedule 1 Reddit page, and this spreadsheet with all the recipes by Course Air on the Reddit page as well. Both of these will be linked down in the description for you to take a look at, so I implore you to do so. Another subject to talk about is RNG, which I'll be telling some tales from my time playing the game and some strategies that I used in my world record that involve some heavy RNG, so let's get into it. So in my time playing Schedule 1, I have noticed that when you get offers for deals on your phone, you can counteroffer those offers and upcharge the price by about $10 to $20, sometimes $30, and most of the time they'll accept. I've had some rare cases with people like Sam and Beth not accepting those deals, so be cautious with them. And now moving away from phone deals and onto the in-person deals. For my world record run, I used a strategy which some other runners think is a bit odd, but it works for me, and since this is my tutorial, I feel I should share it with the world. So when I go to do deals in person, near the end of my run, I dump as much product as I can into the person's inventory until they stop accepting any more product, and then I up the price as much as possible until they hit the max amount that they're willing to pay, and then I just send the deal and hope it works. Usually the chance hovers around 50% for them to accept that, so it's very RNG heavy, but I promise it works, and it's gotten me world record twice, so I'm going to stand by this strategy until something better is found. And for the final quick addition before the end of the video, I have a couple of NPC routes again from the speedrunning Discord server, which you should really join if you're considering doing this run, as there is so much helpful info and very smart people in there finding all this data. So here are Geraldine and Jesse's routes that they take around the map each day. This is the only one I have right now, but maybe I'll make an update video in the future. I will be making an update to this video when more updates to the game release to keep up with the any % route. Now with that info, I believe that is all I have for you today, so if this video helped you in any way, please leave a like and consider subscribing, and also consider following me on Twitch where I do all my speedrun attempts live. You can come ask questions about the run and see how I do what I do. And finally, thank you so much for watching.